Okay, so I left off at when the cramping started. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and I started feeling cramping. The cramping, the best way that I could describe it is it came and went, and it lasted a few seconds at a time, and then it would come on, and then it would go away, and then I would be okay. So about 2 hours of this cramping coming and going, and it wasn't getting any better despite the fact that I had taken pain meds. I decided that I was going to go to the hospital. So upon arriving at the hospital, I sat in the waiting room for 2 hours before I was brought into the room. At this point, the cramps were unbearable. Like, they don't explain to you in their little miscarriage pamphlets what to expect. They tell you some cramping is normal, but they don't tell you how it actually happens. I would describe them as contractions, because essentially that's what they are. Your body is contracting your baby out. So I was getting these contractions every 2 to 3 minutes, and they were painful. I literally had to talk myself through them. I had to breathe through them, and they lasted anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute long. So finally, after I got taken into the back room, they gave me pain medication, which didn't really help at all. About half an hour later, I felt the urge to have to use the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and the little nurse gave me like this little cup thing to stick around the rim of the toilet just in case something came out that it would catch it. So I go to the bathroom to change my liner. At this point, I'm soaking a liner every half an hour. And we're talking hospital grade pad. Not the kind of pad that you buy from the store, but the kind that the hospital gives you. So I'm bleeding quite a bit. I'm in the bathroom, and the next thing I know, I feel this urge to push. Kind of like the urge when you're ready to push your baby out during labor. So I pushed. It wasn't a hard push, it was just like, okay, I really got to use the bathroom, and, my bladder hurts, so I'm going to push the pee out. Well, that's kind of like what it was. And then our baby came out. And it was just there in the toilet. Just there. It was hard to believe that I had carried this, grown this baby to be this size, and it had come out of me. And the best way that I can describe it is, it was the size of like a small plum, maybe a walnut. There you go, that's a better size. It's like the size of a walnut. And then I just freaked. I started crying. I knew it was over at that point. Somewhere inside of me, I was in denial, but when this happened, there was no denying it anymore. So I let the nurse know that I had passed the baby. And then she took it and put it in like this little white container so that I guess they could examine it later. And then I went and laid down in the hospital bed. So it didn't end there. I ended up hemorrhaging for quite a few hours after. They were afraid that I was going to have to get a transfusion, which I did not want. But after passing 2 more clots, but they were clots. Like, I knew that they were clots because you you can tell the difference between what your baby looks like and what a clot looks like. And the clot was like a really bright red color, and the baby was like, you know, a darker color. And then I persistently bled, and they had to check to make sure that all of the tissue, the fetal tissue and the placental tissue, was not stuck or lodged in my cervix. So that was an examination that was painful. It was so painful. And I had a resident doing it, so she was just learning where to find everything, so it made it even more painful. But after it was all said and done, it must have been about 5 o'clock in the morning when the bleeding started to subside, and they allowed me to go home. I'm still bleeding. I am now 4 days past the miscarriage, and I am still bleeding, but it's starting to slow down. We have decided that we are going to try to conceive again. We're not going to let this stop us from having the baby that we want and that we deserve. So I have ordered OPKs, and I am waiting for them to come in the mail, and we are going to try right away. The only reason why the doctors say that you shouldn't try for 3 cycles is more or less for dating your pregnancy, because after having a miscarriage, they don't have a previous menstrual period to go off of to be able to date the pregnancy. But and that's what my doctor has told me. So if that's really the only reason why we can't try to conceive again, then we are going to go ahead and try again right away. There is no better therapy than getting back up and jumping on that horse again. So that's what we have decided to do. I have decided that I am going to continue my trying to conceive vlogs after my miscarriage. I do have quite a few people that follow me on Facebook, so I decided that I'm going to continue with my vlogs. Right now, I'm not as emotional about the miscarriage as I was 2 days ago. I am going through the steps of the grieving process, and right now I'm all cried out. I don't think I can cry anymore. I'm more angry at the circumstances that surround what happened. And for those of you who would like to know exactly what those circumstances are, I will be making another video in a couple of days just explaining the situation and how it came to be, or at least from my perspective and the way I think it all went down and the way I think it could have been handled. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this video helps someone else going through what I went through. Thank you.